minute. God damn. Oh, God, I'm sorry, you guys. I picked a terrible day. I don't know what's going on with me. I just fucking threw up in the cat box. I don't feel so good. I think maybe I got sick, or is there something going around? There's like some crazy virus going around. Hey, that was a funny segue. At least I thought so. We are here live at Dr. Strange Records on Hash. Is it Hash Wednesday? I'm not really sure. With the virus, and I thank you guys very much for showing up today, hanging out with us, having some fun, making some dick jokes.
Dick jokes, excellent.
With a dick like mine, it's just not funny. We are here live Wednesday. It's about 2 o'clock. We're almost on time with the virus, so as I always do, thank you. And if you can, introduce yourselves to my mom, because she watches this religiously. And she loves dick jokes too, especially in the ass. So go ahead.
Hi, Mom.
Name and what you do.
My name's Dave.
In the band.
I play guitar in the band, and you're a naughty lady for liking dick jokes.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Josh, and I play bass.
My name is Paul, and I scream.
My name is Zach, and I play guitar.
I'm Tyler, and I play drums.
Okay, now we have that stuff, and you guys will be tested on this in reverse order. So I hope you're watching. Okay, so we do the introductions. I'm not confused, but the virus has a lot of history as far as rotating members, different members from the inception of the band until what it is now. Out of all you guys, who was on that first record? And what was that first record? Was it on Charged Records? But who was on the first record? Let's do that.
The first record was the Global Crisis 7-inch on Charged Records, and only Dave and I sitting here were on that record.
Yeah. Doing the same roles? The same...
I played bass at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
And Mike was the singer at the time, so when I joined the band, Mike was singing, I played bass, and when he left, I took over.
What records did you put out with you on vocals?
The first was the Singles and Rarities collection that Punkcore put out.
Oh, right.
The picture disc.
The picture disc, yeah, was the first release, and then the Singles and Rarities collection featured that, some other old songs we had re-recorded with my vocals, and then some older songs too. It kind of compiled everything that was hard to find into one nice little CD. And then after that, the Nowhere to Hide full length on Punkcore. And then there was a 7-inch on Dirty Punk Records.
Yeah, from France.
Yeah, the Benefits of War 7-inch.
That was on a cool colored vinyl.
That was on a few different
Yeah, they did a lot of really cool represses on there.
Yeah, I like that label. I used to trade with them. But they just, I wish I would have got more. They never show up anymore.
He was at one of our shows in France.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, sweet.
2000.
Oh, that's cool. Well, let's. I'm going to switch a little bit because that kind of leads me to the other question I had for you guys. You know, you're around, you see these records, your records. Is it flattering, or is it a weird feeling to see what these things can go for? Because, you know, when your records come in, there's like diehard fans will post them on the internet or on Instagram, bam, they're gone. The phone will ring. They don't sell for cheap. Is that a weird feeling to you? Because I could imagine for some people it's like, well, that's not why we put this record out. It's not to make money. It's not to have a collectible record. Or is it? I mean, how do you feel about your records going for a decent amount of money?
For me, it's flattering because I'm a diehard record collector, and there can be, you know, if it's a record I want, I'll pay whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. At the same time, it's weird too because when you see like people listing CDs for $100,
Oh my God.
that sucks.
Yeah.
Or when you see people or meet people that hit you up for old records because they're like, oh man, they're worth so much, I want to flip them. That's when
That's
it's
not cool.
awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And I would rather give $100 record away to someone who just wanted the record
I agree.
than sell one to somebody who wanted to flip it.
No,
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Having the record store, you have to watch out for those people and price things at a fair price, but not so cheap that they can turn around and flip it. That's happened many times here.
Sure, yeah. So it's
want-
both.
Yeah, you want the fans to have it and not some douchebag investor trying to make money.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
It's all part of the record collecting game.
It
you know
is.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the further that we get with how savvy the internet has become, it gets harder and harder to play that game.
Yeah.
Because 10 years ago, it was really easy to take advantage of people that didn't know better, but now the information is so much more accessible as far as record volume.
Just like
record
that.
value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Discogs, I mean,
Yeah.
totally just.
So now it feels like whatever the old virus records are selling for, I feel like all record values are really leveling out to where you're getting more of a true valuation
Yeah.
of a record in
Yeah.
this day and age as opposed to 10 years ago. So
Well, I
But it is-
notice it.
It's not only flattering; it's it's kind of hard to fathom to see a 7-inch that, you know, we had some overage copies on and made like a highlight cover, hand numbered, that I have a few of, selling for $80 or $100.
Yeah.
It's kind of mind blowing, you know.
I bet.
Not only flattering, but also it's a nice perspective.
It's super humbling because bands that I love chasing after punk records where I'm like, dude, I found it for $100, awesome, like totally no problem with it. Where I would have spent whatever for a record I wanted. So it's like, it's cool.
That's what I tell people here and anywhere really. If the price you pay for a record is fair to you, it's a fair price, no matter what that price is.
You and the buyer agree upon.
Exactly, and then it's a fair price.
Saying
But
that a lot this week.
I notice every single day, and maybe even right now, that guy right there looking at records, looking at his phone. Can I get this for less?
Sure.
Is
Right.
it worth this much? I see that every single day. It's weird, so it kind of keeps you in
It's kind
check
of bizarre when you're record shopping and guys are double checking. Like,
all the time.
I like when
I think I can get this
I like
figured
when
out.
someone will give you a hard time and be like, well, I can find this for $3 cheaper, and you're like, yeah, but the shipping's $5 for my order.
Well, I would say get it.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah.
You know.
Do what you want.
Yeah, do whatever makes you happy.
That privilege.
Yeah, that turns you on to go ahead and do it. So you guys had a over 10-year, 13 years since the last record. Why?
it's
What?
almost 15.
Wow. What's the reason for getting back?
Good timing, really. There was discussions of the Virus reuniting several times while we were together, and there was actually a couple variations of former members that got together to rehearse a bit and see if it could happen, and it just never became anything more than that. And when the conversation came up, we reached out to members that we want to have involved and see who was available, and we put together a group of guys with the intention of just playing a couple reunion shows, and that was 3.5 years and several tours later. So there wasn't really like. What I said when I first got the phone call was, if all I get to do is hang out with old friends and talk about old times and play some of these old songs at practice space and go out to eat afterwards, that'll be fun. Like if that's all it is, so great. If we play some shows, cool. And it's certainly, just like the Virus did in the early days, it's grown beyond my expectations once again, which is, it's kind of cool to re-experience that.
That's a really good, in my opinion, reason for having a band.
Yeah.
Just getting together with friends, playing,
That's where it
practicing,
starts.
and people show up. That's cool. Having realistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations for a band or a label or anybody, that'll put you out of business or make you quit because you're like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to travel here and be
you'll get
popular.
bummed.
No,
Yeah.
it's,
I think where the expectations start to get skewed too is when the band starts to find success and there's some offers and there's labels that want to put your stuff out and you can go on tour and there's a little bit of money to be made. Then suddenly that just having fun turns to, well, we have a little bit of a business here to think about how exactly we're going to make this work, because the logistics of that record not existing to holding it in our hand, the one we just did, is a lot of work that people don't realize behind the scenes.
I know
It's
it.
stressful and it makes us all fight and argue.
Yes,
and-
that's the thing I always try to
complain and then be
convey.
like, why the fuck am I doing this? Because I just wanted to hang out with friends and have fun.
Yeah.
This isn't fucking fun anymore.
There's a few
Yeah.
times making this record where Dee and I were going back and forth trying to get stuff done, and it's getting heated, and then we'd see each other a few days later and be like, it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, everything will be
It's
fine.
gonna be okay.
Run the drives.
And then we would get like a, we would get like a test printout of the cover and get together. Like, this is so cool.
Yeah. It's all worth it. It's all worth it.
For me, finishing a record is one of my favorite parts of being in a band. Getting that, opening the box for the first time,
Yes.
and seeing the cover and taking off the cellophane and smelling that, and touching it and seeing the, spreading it all out and being like, finished product. That is probably my second most favorite thing about being in a band after the live performance.
Yeah, you get
And
you get
really
a high
beyond that, a
off
lot of the
live.
other shit I could leave. I like hanging out with my friends third, and then after that, it's a lot of headache.
I mean, we didn't get to see these records until we got out here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking forward to when the tour is over and I get home and I have 20 minutes by myself on my couch and I can just pull these apart and just be like, okay, this is it.
You can play with them.
Right.
Check them out. I can relate to that. I get it. Yeah, it is a big payoff in other ways that people watching may not realize. There's a lot more work too. I always try to let people know, being in a band, it's not all fun. It's probably 50-50.
It's a ton of
A lot
work.
of stress.
And we
lot of work.
doubled up on ourselves. We put one record out on 2 labels with
Yes.
different variations and different songs. It felt like we were putting out 2 records.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta. The timing is everything. Well, we just got some of the European pressings in. We sold out of the first pressing on Evacuate. But tell people how many different variations. As much as you can remember.
So there's a lot of record
lot.
collectors sitting right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when the early conversations about what we planned for the record were just ridiculous, and we had
Right.
off the wall ideas to make it
It's hard to keep notes on
make
all.
it very
Yeah.
very exciting from a records collector standpoint. We're estimating between 2 labels, all the color variations, and some things that have yet to be released on vinyl for this album. I think 22 variations between covers and colors and combinations.
But it's 22 with the 2 vinyl labels.
Yeah.
And 2 vinyl labels and 2 cassette labels.
Oh yeah, there's also 2
Oh, I
cassettes.
didn't know that.
There's a cassette in Russia and a cassette in Indonesia, and they each come on 2 colors. And then we did a CD on our own that's not on a label. We just did that right
Smart.
with the virus. So that's a variation.
And there's a talk of the U.S. cassette.
And then we did all the limited test pressings, one of which you guys got to do the giveaway with, and there's more limited test pressing stuff to come. We're record collectors, so we wanted to make it fun for us. You know what I mean? Where it's just,
Yeah.
you know, and that's something with the early records that Dave and I didn't have a chance to do with the early stuff, and Josh, we didn't know as much. You know, we were collecting records back then, but we weren't as savvy about.
Did you ever try and buy all the Stitches variants?
Yeah, it's actually impossible. Well, fuck, 22 records, the CD, the cassettes, all the stuff. But you know there are people that will do that.
Yeah.
Like the super
I do.
die-hard
Yeah.
bands. Yeah, I mean, I'm like that with certain bands. Like
Right.
the Dickies, man, I want everything, you know,
Yeah.
people pick their band. And it's fun. The hunt, like you and I talked about, the hunt is half the fun.
Totally.
Just don't pick the Clash.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
certainly.
Motorhead. If you pick
You'll
Motorhead,
never,
you're
ever,
broke.
yeah,
Forget
you'll
it.
never ever get them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Ramones.
So for this tour, how long was this tour? I mean, how many
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
13 shows.
Where'd you start? Where do you win?
Last night we played in Santa Ana.
That's day 1.
Yeah.
And then there's another show in Los Angeles. We're going to Vegas after that, and then down through the desert states, through Texas, as far east as Kansas City, Denver, Salt Lake City.
What bands are booked that you're looking forward to playing with? Or do you even know? I mean, do you know until you get there? I mean, I'm sure you had the
Aggression
itinerary.
played
Aggression
last
played
night
last
and
night
tonight.
tonight.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And the Struggles playing the Salt Lake City show, and they were label mates on George.
Band from a long time ago. And sometimes new band. It's cool when like an opening band from a small town that you just wouldn't have heard about is awesome because it makes you excited about a new band. You know, so I like checking out newer bands and younger.
You
dudes.
like making a point of seeing the opening bands? Or are you guys busy doing your other stuff or eating
Yes,
or drinking?
I try to.
You try to?
Yeah.
It
Just
depends on the night,
Yeah.
if we can, yeah.
I bet sometimes you're sleeping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
playing
that's, if that's an option. I mean, the couch always wins for me.
No, I'm with you. I don't play.
Yeah.
And we're touring with Corrupted Youth, who's also on Evacuate.
Yep.
We also put out
Yeah.
a new full length last November, I think it released. So it's nice to tour with new label mates and get to know those guys. And,
They're nice guys.
yeah.
That's
They're popular.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys are working though. Like.
Are they?
Yeah.
I'm doing it hard, man.
That
I'm
guy
going
is
for it.
working. They're working. They're not just like popular for no reason.
One question I asked last week or so of the Oi Scouts, if I was to go to your house or apartment, wherever you live, and looked at your turntable, what is on your turntable right now?
Right now, literally, there's a Judas Priest live record that is still sitting there that I did not put back in the sleeve before.
Okay.
I got a bad needle, so it's all broken. I got nothing.
You're making an excuse.
No,
Okay,
for
what's,
real, it's
what's
just,
on your CD player? If your needle was working, like what are you into right now?
I don't know. The last thing I was listening to, probably in the car, was just been. I don't know. I've been listening to my buddy Mikey Classic did some good stuff. He's just like a dude I know that's put out some good, punk stuff. It's all
Just a
good
buddy of yours.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Well, my wife's home, so and she also collects records. So what's on my record player right now has probably changed since I left. But I know that the Just War 7-inch was in the stack near my record player, and Wildlife just played in Lancaster, which is near my hometown. They're from New York City, and I picked up their new record, so that's sitting there. And there's another one sitting in that pile that I can't recall. I've had about 10 hours of sleep since we landed, so I can't recall.
That's okay. That was a good answer. You had something. What about you?
The last record I played was while I was packing orders, and it was Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band.
Did you lose a bet? Okay, what about
Oh man, bear with me. I'll try and keep it short.
like your dick? Hey, Mom.
It's short, but
It's
wide.
short, but it's
It's
wide.
perky.
That's why your mom got stretch marks.
She said double penetration. Go ahead.
Excellent. It's Sadist Beauty Fades, their new 7-inch for sure. Was the last thing I listened to on my turntable. And before that was this ridiculous noise band called Yellow Tears, and the record was called Piss Mock. And it's like harsh noise and weird stuff. And then prior to that, it was Charles Manson's new record and this band from Austin, Total Abuse. So they're probably all around my record player right now.
It's weird. It's not weird. It's actually really common for a band that plays one style of music to listen to other things.
Right? You'll get bored as shit if you listen to the
Right.
same stuff all the time.
Yeah,
I listen
exactly.
to some stuff that make Virus fans sad.
Josh said Bruce Springsteen. We should hang him in the streets.
Oh, we're going to. No, we're going to. There's people on the way now. Nice knowing you. Just grab his credit card.
It's the only.
Good luck. Thanks for paying off the debt.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned a little bit earlier about the new record, and it sold out really quickly. And I know Mike sold out of the first press. I think you guys did 250 or 500 on White, which we sold out immediately. We just got
250
some
on
more
White.
records in at the second press on Splatter Vinyl. We got the
Awesome.
Voltage European pressing, which I know those will be gone within a couple weeks or so, especially after they go online.
Great.
As
You
far
know.
as I know, this is the only record store in the U.S. that has them.
Do
Yeah.
you continue? I mean, do you have plans of keeping this record in print? It's not going to go out of print.
We just go back and forth in the discussion
Yeah.
because we like the idea of having finite
Yeah.
pressings.
Yeah.
So if there's another pressing, it'll be a variant. For certain. It won't be. It won't look the same. You know.
And it
Yeah,
won't be.
I like that.
It won't be a huge number either. It
yeah,
won't
it'll
be
be more
like.
limited.
Yeah.
But don't you think you're kind of well? Do you have stuff online?
Oh,
you want
everything's
people to
digitally.
hear everything.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so they can always get
Bandcamp
music
and
is available.
Spotify and iTunes, all your favorite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, YouTube.
So you're not cheating your fans of music.
It's all out there, and I
Plenty
mean we have
of
the
things.
CDs for sale, and we have some stuff set back from both label pressings that will allow us to have more copies once the initial 1,000 go.
Once the dust settles,
Yeah, exactly.
it'll
we
be
want
out
the
there.
labels to be able to sell their copies to everybody that wants them. And
How can people watching get in touch with you guys to buy those records? I always like to support the band because I know it's a few more bucks for you when they buy
this
direct.
guy
What's
handles
your
almost all the media.
So, you can go to viruspunks.com.
Virus Punks with an X or
With a KS.
Yeah,
good? I like that.
Real.
God damn, I hate that. Cool is not KOOL, it's C. That's
Unless you're smoking.
huge. Yeah. Unless you're smoking. You shouldn't smoke. That's a big pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, virus.bandcamp. The
Facebook.
Facebook is
/ Virus Punks.
Yep. Instagram is @viruspunks. Twitter's @viruspunks.
info@viruspunks.com.
Yep.
Yeah, how can they not get in touch with you?
Yeah, it's all there.
If you
It's all-
Google, if you
Very
Google Virus
accessible.
and Punks,
Yeah,
you
it'll come up.
get a heavily populated search.
All those
We
things
were
are
really lucky to
GS.
get our old website back when we were reunited. It just happened to expire.
Oh, it
At
did?
the time that we were reuniting, and a company had bought it,
Yes,
kind of
they
under our
do
wing,
that.
like parked it for clicks went through. So we really scored on that. So we were able, and that's the same website that's on all the old releases. So it's,
Oh, you
yeah,
got
we really
very
lucky.
lucky.
Except for the singles
Except
and
for
rarities.
that.
The singles and rarities has a
GeoCities
GeoCities.
website.
Oh, wow. That's funny. I forgot to do that. What about, I mean, I know this record's new. We shouldn't talk about it. Do you have, but I will. Do you have new songs that weren't on System Failure that you're thinking about? Or
We have songs that were recorded in this session that weren't on either
That's
record.
good.
Yeah, so we wanted to go into the studio and to be able to record enough stuff that would allow us to have some follow-up releases. So there's
7 inches or
Let's talk
otherwise.
about some split 7 inches with bands that we've met since we were united, especially.
Cool.
So the newer bands that we found that we like, that we befriended, that
Mhm.
we think people should hear, and we like them.
That's
so
nice.
we want you to hear them. So we're gonna do splits with a handful of them and be able to release maybe a song off the record and a song you haven't heard yet. So there's a
Perfect.
reason to buy it.
It also gives
Super
us
smart.
the opportunity to break up again for 10 years, put new members in the band, and we just stay
There you
home.
Yeah. Well, maybe my mom could be a member.
Our
She
ultimate,
plays skin flute. Hey, Mom, what?
our ultimate working goal is to have enough X members that we can have 3 working versions of the virus simultaneously.
Oh, like
Yeah.
Blue Man Group. You can just
We
go all
took-
around the world. That's
We took the
genius.
Menudo
Yes.
idea and brought it to the street punk game. Where the dude gets a certain age, you put a 13-year-old in there, if someone gets a horrible addiction,
That's
get
why
them out
It's
of
gonna
there.
happen.
Paul and I
Yeah,
both
just
had
switch 'em out.
children just so that we could raise them. to
Continue
become
the.
members.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
Leonard Skinner stuff.
Inherit.
There you go. Super smart. We talked about what would be on your turntable, but what records were you guys into when you first got into not only music, but punk, but music? Like, what was your first influences?
Like really young?
Whatever you can
Children?
remember. Whatever you can remember as a kid, and then the evolution into punk, like the first punk band.
My parents were pretty middle of the road. I mean, it was the local country music station at dinner, and my mother would like Simon and Garfunkel and stuff like that. I think the first it was probably middle school when I heard some classic rock. And I think Pink Floyd's The Wall was the first one that kind of caught my attention. And I thought, well, there can be music outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was around, and I'm going to date myself here, that was around the time that Jane's Addiction put out their first record. And that told me there was new music that was different. And I found metal pretty quick, and then I found like thrash. Like Suicidal Tendencies led me to like thrash stuff and skate stuff. And then, and Dave and I went to high school together. He was 14 when I met him, and when I met Dave, he was further ahead of the curve of being into punk. Now, there was no internet,
Yeah.
so if you didn't
Right.
have a friend that was making you a mixtape,
Exactly.
you were shit
Yeah,
out
it
of luck
was,
on
yeah.
finding something, because it wasn't going to be at the mall.
Yeah,
And,
100%.
he turned me on to a handful of things, and him and I ran with it together for some time, and saw some influential bands at a young age that kind of Fugazi was pretty big in the process
Steve
for me.
Fugazi was great.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys start playing back then, or you
I
just
was in
became
a- we were
friends?
both-
He was in a band that I was, and it was great because that band, it was the band he was in was high school. They didn't have like, they weren't pigeonholed. They could play whatever. And so during the time when like they were just calling music that was different alternative, because that's how old we are. We're 3,000 to 4,000 years old. That band reflected it. So you'd meet a lot of different people. People would like some of their stuff, maybe not all of their stuff, but they would play whatever they felt like, which was cool. And yeah, so I would definitely go check out his
And then
band.
we were in an early band together called The Sellouts that was a real experimental punk
Yeah,
project.
that is as punk as it
Probably
could
was my
get.
favorite band I was ever
It
in.
had,
The Sellouts?
yeah,
Sellouts,
it had.
There's another band called The Sellouts that has records out, but this was before them. We never released
The
anything.
concept of that
record
band, no, it
That
had
concept's great.
no practice, no songs, okay? But we played shows, and what we did was someone gave out a subject matter for the
Oh,
song.
it's like
and
improv.
And someone threw out
Four
numbers for the
Between
frets.
0 and 12, and that was the frets.
And there's your song. Go.
And then we would blast,
It's
we would
improv
blast
punk.
it in
That's
like
a great
30 to
idea.
45 second like
Yeah.
hardcore songs, maybe with a halftime cut, and Dave would sing about fucking eggs or
It
whatever.
would degenerate to like
Oh, that's funny.
middle career G.G. Allen stuff,
Uh-huh.
stuff high school kids think of. It was like the fart dick songs, like shit you love.
Oh, I could be in that
And
band.
it was similar to the virus because any of our friends could potentially be a member at the time.
Yeah, it's like, oh, cool, yeah, play that.
Like we
yeah.
need a bass player, jump
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
so it was
awesome.
Definitely.
That's not a
So
bad
it was a lot
idea.
of like local
Yeah.
fire halls for an early age for us, and
Yeah.
that exposed Dave and I to a lot of different stuff. And there was a few older guys that gave us
Tapes
introductions,
and
some other
like,
stuff.
like
and,
this, and we just scope out.
and then
the
as soon as we could
t-shirts,
really
you know.
drive, we were heading to Philly to see shows and Baltimore to see shows, and back then it was record stores to find a band similar to what you liked. Or looking at an older punk's jacket. And like,
Yes,
well, I like
yeah.
the
exactly.
Racing Wheels, so I might like this other band on his
Uh-huh.
jacket.
Right.
Or the
You're
thank you
taking
list
these-
of a record.
Yeah,
I bought a
exactly.
million
So
records
many
based off of that.
Big
Or
time.
writing in for the mail order option from
Mhm.
the label to see what else might be on the label, and then a lot of times just taking a shot in the dark because you couldn't stream it.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
You know, what about those old bands that if you could go back in time that you'd love to see or play with? You know what I mean? Like what are those bands? No matter where they're from, would you guys
I
love
would
to
love to
play?
see the Clash. I'd see the Clash in their prime.
In their
Mhm.
In the prime, like 70.
I would like to see them
79.
towards the end. Because
Yeah.
it would be funnier for me, I think, with the two dudes just wearing creepers wandering around, cut the crap.
I like
fresh-
that record.
Fresh
Cut the
off
Crap.
the press.
I actually like that record. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one.
I would have liked to see the Stooges in their prime.
Yeah, yeah.
I would have seen them since, but
And they killed it, yeah.
yeah.
A lot of bands that are older are still really phenomenal
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
It's
it is
surprising.
1,000% there.
Yeah,
it
It's
kills it.
present.
I was blown away watching
Yeah.
Iggy.
Really?
Yeah.
He was.
He made me realize I need to step my cardio.
I mean, I
Yeah.
remember we were.
Right.
I think I went with you.
Yeah.
It was
Well, I
like
saw him a couple times.
he was up on the balcony. I was on a balcony, and he's on the side of the stage, and you see him over there, just his jeans on, no shoes,
Yeah.
no shirt, and he's bouncing. There's no music, and he's bouncing up and down. And
Getting ready.
the
He's all
first
amped
note
up.
hits, and you realize that all the amps are strapped down. And the first
all
note
on
hits,
there.
and he runs, and in one motion, he grabbed the microphone, and he was in the crowd. And there was we were 2 seconds in. I was like, Oh.
Instant mayhem.
Yeah, okay.
That's a great way to
I
start.
saw him like in New York open for a Dolls reunion, and there was like this big like camera on like a train track looking thing that was horseshoe
It's like
shaped
$80,000
to
camera.
cover
follow
the
it.
thing.
Yeah.
And I think like the Strokes one, there's like almost a festival scene,
This is the Little
outdoor
Stevens
show.
thing.
Yeah, it's like a Little Stevens thing. And first thing he's like out and on that, like breaking that camera. And, you know what I mean? Like just, it was amazing. He's killing it.
He's one of a kind.
I would imagine that in the in
Yeah.
their prime would be quite a special.
Sure, yeah.
Especially and seeing it now, knowing what I know, it probably wouldn't be as awe-inspiring as being in that time then,
It-
not having
no way
seen
in hell.
anything
Right,
like that.
yeah.
Things were different.
And just
Yeah.
thinking the
It was
show,
new. It
like
was
thinking
dangerous,
like the
yes.
possibilities of where an artist could take something on stage, you know, because
Yep.
he really challenged a lot.
Big time. I want to remind people we do have a drawing coming up for the test pressing. So stay tuned. And speaking of you guys, we have a couple of questions from those guys. Not my mom, because her questions were like way out there.
Well, now I want to hear those though.
Later. That's the extended
It's private info.
special feature. Hey Taryn, this is from Taryn. Okay, with such a long, some of these questions may be repeats of something I already asked you, but I think it's cool when people ask, so we have to include them. This is from Taryn. With such a long breakup between your last LP and System Failure, was it difficult getting back together and writing new songs for this?
When we first got back together, we started writing slightly. We wrote a few songs.
Yeah.
And we wrote Accountability on the record. It was probably the first one that we finished and started playing out. And then it kind of stalled out for a little bit.
We booked a lot of tours, and all of us have day jobs. Some of us have kids, so
And we live.
so once the momentum started with like just being a reunion band, it was like you know writing music kind of got tabled, and then we had to conscientiously make a decision that we're not going to book anything for a while, and we're just going to rehearse and we're going to buckle down and write 25 or 30 songs and whittle that down to like less than 20 that we could work with and develop.
So none of these songs in the new record are actually old songs that were never done. They're all
Oh,
new songs.
yeah.
Huh, that's surprising.
We
I would think you.
when we
have some-
decided to start really hammer down on it, Dave and I were just writing riff after riff after riff,
Yeah.
and just
Pumping it out.
Just come and be like, "Here's 30 riffs I got today.
Yeah.
Let's find which ones
Totally.
you have and I have and he has, and put them
Yeah.
together and try and make something happen here."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it took quite a whiteboard of a spreadsheet that I created to get us.
His spreadsheet.
I like that.
And,
You're the organizer.
When we started writing the record, Tyler wasn't even in the band yet.
Right.
We didn't have a drummer.
Yeah,
So
we
that
had-
was a
we had a
challenge. That was
session.
true. That was tough. We had a friend of ours sitting in, and we would just we would write a
How'd you get in
song.
touch? I mean,
In typical Virus fashion, we needed to replace a member almost immediately after deciding to agree to do
Since
something.
we reunited,
Yeah.
we replaced 2 members.
Right.
but you're used to that. No big deal.
Yeah.
It's just par for the course.
It's a
Kinda.
dude. It's punk. It's a collective.
I would hope that doesn't happen again. That's never like the goal.
No, no way, no.
Well, Zach was an old friend, and Zach actually roadied for the band for a few
Oh,
tours
yeah.
before he took over.
Zach has been did roadie since we got back together, and then it was sort of just made sense.
And he's in a killer band. We love the Ravengers, so we were like,
Ravengers.
yeah,
from Baltimore.
yeah,
Yep.
Do you guys have something out?
yeah.
Yeah. Living in Oblivion is the first record out. Second one is Natural Instinct. So
Is it something
Check
the
that one,
band
check
did,
that
or
one.
what label's it on?
it's on Natural Instinct's on Rock and Roll Records, which is like Pork Magazine's label. So I think we're the only band on their label right now. So that's kind of weird, but that's out. And then Living in Oblivion came out on Cricket Cemetery Records. So
Both great records.
Yeah,
Definitely
solid
check them out,
records.
So it was a no-brainer to get him and Tyler. We met because you booked us in Chicago.
Yeah. Tyler reached out about booking the band in Chicago before the band even really announced that we were going to do much out of town. And when we announced that we needed a drummer, he was one of the first people to reach out as well. He was a fan of the band and was stoked to help out in any way he could. And
Tyler drives 12 hours.
Tyler's from Chicago.
Ah,
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
from Chicago.
that's dedication. That's
Yeah.
cool. Here's one from Eric. So you guys are doing this tour. You just started. Do you have plans of doing more? Or is it too early to even?
We have
Think about it.
some, not tours, but we're playing 2 shows with the UK subs. coming
Ooh,
up.
score. Where's that?
Philadelphia and Baltimore.
April
Yeah.
7th.
That's what's on my turntable right now. UK subs.
Which one?
Crash Course, the live one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny. Yeah,
There's,
love
and we're laying the planning seeds for a European tour
Probably go back to
in
Europe.
in November to support the Voltage Records release, and
You should. I think that would do really super well.
and hopefully we get over there and we have one of the split 7 inches we're planning ready for that tour as well.
Okay, here's one from Kai. Well, we already asked this, but I'll mention it to Kai. He just wanted to know, you guys, had this new record, first one 13 or 15 years, but we already talked about any plans for a new one, but we'll see how that goes.
Dave and I joke about it. Practice might be ready to start.
We thought it would be funny to write new songs newer than this new record and play them on this tour.
Here's this one from Micah. How has the band and the scene changed since you guys first started the band, or even just first started going to gigs? Like, how has things changed?
I do all the booking, most of the booking. It has never been so easy to book a band.
Why?
Facebook.
Social media.
Yeah, I mean it's just simple. Like I can find clubs and Facebook groups and like people in the scene within 3 to 5 minutes and have a message out. We did a Midwest tour that was 12 days, and I booked it 3 or 4 months out, and I had it finished in 7 days. Guarantees, locations, clubs, like everything. The only thing that wasn't in stone was the openers, because they had to reach out to their locals and figure out who they wanted to put it on.
It's much easier for an established band, I'm sure.
The internet changed
Yeah.
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you.
Not just in music.
Everything.
Everything.
I mean, I think that punk and the scene itself always is evolving, but with the internet, now there's even more subgenres to it. It just makes it even broader. It's crazy.
Is there too much stuff out there? I mean, for a new band that's putting out free music, you're flooded with so many other bands.
I don't think there's too much stuff out there. I think what the problem is everyone's putting too many labels on it.
Other music.
You have this kid, the street punk kid who thinks that the D beat
Isn't punk.
Isn't
It's
punk.
Oh, I
Punk.
totally, I hate
Yeah.
that.
and it's like
It's punk.
these are
Yeah.
the same things.
Punk or not,
like,
done.
Came from the same place.
Yeah, it's okay to like it if
Yeah.
you you don't have to be like, oh, I can't listen to that. It says diss in front of the name, so
Uh-huh.
I can't listen to that.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think what's also
I agree.
different, not just in punk, but in all music scenes. When 15, 20 years ago, if you were going to get a release out, it was more of a process. With home recording now and all that stuff, it's a lot easier to get your music out. So you see more of it. It's a lot more accessible. But I feel like in order to get out and get noticed, the bar's been raised. You know what I mean? Like you can't just put out something typical and expect that the club is going to want to book you. Like you have to be bringing something that people want to hear, that you listen to, and you're like, yeah, this is worth it. So
that's what competition is.
Yeah.
When people compete, businesses or bands or whatever, it elevates your game, I think. I think it's a good thing.
It's weird too, like with the record, with the internet. You put it out, and before I read like Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, you put the record out, and you're just like, okay, well, it's out now.
Yep.
And there was no like.
Hopefully they buy it when they
there was
come
no,
see
like,
us. That's
how many digital downloads were
Right.
how many people streamed it today? How many people hashtagged it? And I think it makes you overthink it. too
Oh,
much.
fuck yeah.
It's
It'll
awful.
drive you insane. Yeah, there's only so much you can do.
Right.
Do your thing, keep your fingers crossed,
Right.
play shows. It's a lot of work. We get back to that. Being in a band is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it can happen. Happen to you, it can happen to them.
Sure.
Having your own business, happen to me, it can happen to you. Without the effort, without trying, you're never going to succeed. You gotta
put the
try.
hammer down.
Yeah.
And have
do it.
and realistic goals. My goal, pay rent, buy pizza anytime I want. That defines success.
It's a good
Excellent.
And you guys, being in a band, hanging out with friends, drinking, whatever, having fun, that's probably a success to you. And if it goes beyond that, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
That way you'll always be a
we
band.
get to hang out and go play shows and see someplace new and meet new people.
Yeah. It's like
What more could you ask for?
nothing. It's kind of like a free vacation. You're meeting people, you're going around the country. Yeah, it's
not.
it's a
you
cool
can't
thing.
say It's a free vacation. The amount of work that we put into this stuff.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
hopefully monetarily it's
But
a free
the
vacation.
payoff, the
even.
payoff once
Try
you
and
get
break
to it,
even.
you're
Yeah,
like,
try.
here I am. This is great. I get to do this because I busted my ass off.
Yeah, now you're in sunny Southern California
Here we
with
are.
Dr. Strange, and we're gonna do a bitchin' ass. Bitchin' ass. Let's just end it on that. Good night, everyone. I'll see you later, Mom. Let's do
Ooh.
for a super limited, probably worth. Yeah, actually, I just Googled it. This is already going for $1,500 on eBay because I just put it up on eBay.
Cool.
So, and I have a friend that's going to win. It's me. By the name of Peter Hardigan or Dick Handler. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Look at this, guys. Okay, thank you all for playing. This is a special limited test press of the new Virus record. So which one do you guys want to?
Go ahead, Tyler.
Go ahead, Tyler and Zach, fight for it.
Tyler, do it. That's it. You gotta pick a good one.
Let's do this. Let's involve everyone.
We'll all put a hand in.
No, kind of. You each grab one, put it behind your back, and then you pick the person that you want it to be.
Oh.
How about that? How about that? Look at all these
I'm gonna-
people. Don't look. Okay. You grab one. Don't look at it. You grab one. Okay. Now stand up. Put them behind your back. Let's twist around. Let's do a little dance.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do, you guys can pirouette, right? Okay. Want me to dip you?
Ready?
Here, let me shuffle you.
Oh, we
It's
just.
like 3-card
You're
money.
right. You go here.
Okay.
All right, and I'll come
like
here.
this.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We could switch.
Wait.
Oh yeah, you can switch hands.
You don't
if
know
want
if we
to.
did. We may have.
Okay.
We
All
may
right.
have.
No.
Very slick.
It's not me, man.
Let's do the Z.
The Z.
All right. Let's see who is the big winner. In my makeup kit.
Everyone loves makeup. Congratulations, makeup kit. Wait, is that Sephora? What's going on here?
Awesome.
That's a person that entered.
That is a
That's
person in my makeup kit. You must have been drunk, but
Ding,
anyway,
ding, ding, ding.
get in touch. What the hell does that mean?
I'll contact them after.
Okay.
I have questions over here too.
We have some questions over here, people.
Hold on, let me find that.
Let's find those. While she's looking for them, guys, watching, not you, because you've seen this, right? Have you seen this record? This is it. This is the new record. We already sold out, but we just got some more in. They will be online tonight, but buy them from them first. Support the band. See them on tour. Buy their shirts. That is basically gas money. Let them get to the next place. So help the band is always my first.
Let us wash
Please.
our bodies in your sink.
Yeah.
It's
And if
only
you-
been one day and we smell
you have
horrible.
If you can't buy it there, you can buy it on Doctor Strange.
If you already have the U.S. pressing and you want the
Look at
European
that.
pressing, come here because we're not selling it on tour. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
if
we
you're
just got a
local
box.
around here, then this is the place to come.
All right.
Yeah, I tell myself that all the time. I just
I
can't.
heard that from your mother. So.
Yeah, you can see it on her back.
How'd you know?
I gave her a nice pearl necklace too.
How did you guys come to the idea of releasing on Evacuate Records with Mike?
Mike actually was asking if we were going to do anything, and I don't think he really even. I don't recall if he suggested it or not, but in conversation, Mike was a big part of why the virus exists.
He's been a big supporter of the whole
Supported the band since he left the band.
Why did he leave the band? Do we know? Yeah, was it just
come to
too
your
much
state.
stuff?
He came
to move
here.
to sunny California.
Yeah.
He had a job
Every-
offer in San Diego, and it was a good offer for him, and it made sense, and it was a very tough decision for
I
him.
bet.
To leave Philadelphia where he's from, and also to leave the virus, which was just starting to gain momentum. We had just recorded. All the tracks were still fighting for a future, so it was immediately after that he made the announcement he was going to go.
I bet that was
And it
tough.
put us in a tough position too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had talked about the possibility of it, but when the hammer fell, it was like, well, what are we going to do? And,
Did you guys? Were you not angry, but did you understand the decision? Was it supportive, or like, oh man, you can't do this to us, or was
for
it
me,
mixed
it was a
feelings?
little of both.
Yeah, I bet.
And him and I
That's
talked,
normal.
Him and I have talked about it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no secrets about it all. It was we toured that record with me singing, which was awkward,
Tough. Yeah.
like it was awkward to do. So we found a new
I
bass
bet
player,
that
and-
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it all worked out. So fast forward, Mike's got the new label, and Mike really cares about punk.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
It's punk saved his life. He's
Mhm,
definitely one of
mhm.
those guys that would say that without a doubt. And we thought it was a good fit. We wanted the record to be on a label. You know what I mean? We wanted to do that. We didn't want to shop or play that game at all.
Or do it yourself.
Well, we talked about doing it ourselves, and,
Mhm.
and we pretty much did, and it just has Evacuate stamp on
Right.
it. I mean, it was
Mike did a ton of work. I mean, it was a DIY project with a label. It work together. You know, it was like that.
I mean, everything's in house. Zach is a graphics designer, so all the art we did in house.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We recorded locally in a
That's
studio that
good.
we chose.
Right.
We picked all the layout, all the information, and even beyond that, like all of our T-shirts and sweatshirts and patches. I want to say we screen, but Josh screens. We have a screen press at our business that we work at.
Smart.
We make all our own pins. You know, we only really outsource stuff that
Stuff that like I can't physically.
can't do like an enamel pin or something like
Right,
that.
right.
Like we don't have the manufacturing, but that's all. It's all in. It's as DIY as we can make it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
So doing it
perfect.
with Evacuate,
Seemed
round
very
about
DIY.
it,
Makes
it
sense.
seemed-
Like it's like,
it
yeah,
helps-
it's
it
a
helps
label,
him
but
out
it's a
and it
form
helped
of
us out.
member. So it makes
Yeah,
sense.
and he has such a connection to
Right,
the band.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Any other questions from people?
Yeah, I have maybe 4 more. Josh says, great show last night. What are your favorite songs to play live?
I think some of the newer songs I enjoy playing the breakdown live.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
it's just super high energy in that song.
Playing any of the new songs live is fun just to watch the crowd response, you know. And before when we write music, we would write new songs and play them regularly. So we would kind of get to judge, like, oh, that one's a lemon. You know what I mean? Like, the crowd's not moving, or like, it just doesn't have
Throw
the
that
energy.
away.
Whereas this record, there was only a couple really that we played live before the record came out. So now when we play them, it's like, well, let's see, is this like a crowd lemon? You know, like when the crowd
You
is there,
can't
it might be
judge
good
this.
on vinyl, but not
Yeah.
work so well, you know.
Do
in
you
person.
do you notice playing these brand new songs off this brand new record? Your audience, do you see them singing along like, oh, that guy has the
yeah.
record.
Yeah.
That guy knows
Yes.
the words.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
pretty
then you
cool.
always have those
That's-
people.
yeah, that's cool.
I mean, anybody that's in a band will say that they know the guy that shows up in the crowd that seems to know all the words to a different record, but he's screaming them at you. So there's those two where
Yeah,
it's just gibberish. You know?
Right, yeah.
They're just so excited. It's just,
They can't contain.
but as far as what I like to play live, I like from the old stuff. I like Time Is Now, and I like Rats in the City. I like the mid-tempo stuff where I have the liberty with the vocals to do more melodic stuff, because it's just more of a challenge as a vocalist to scream in key as opposed to just scream. So I enjoy doing that stuff because I get to challenge myself a little bit different, and I can tweak it and change it and have fun with it, and it keeps something that's very old still interesting.
Yeah, and you haven't played it. The old stuff is new,
Yeah.
kind of. And you're playing it live for the first time in such a long time. It's all new, kind of. I guess.
Sort of something.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's fresh.
Kevin says he's watching while he's driving. Kevin, don't do that.
Do it, Kevin.
Don't do it.
Don't do it,
Challenge
Debbie
yourself,
Smith said. You do it.
gotta
Or
push
Johnson.
yourself to do it.
Did you just forget my name?
No, because I used to go to school with Debbie Smith. I had a crush on her. She was beautiful. And you're beautiful too,
That's
Debbie Johnson.
backtracking.
Yes.
Kick him in the head.
Debbie Johnson.
I'm offended. Standards and practices.
I know. Any others?
Hold on. Jim said Lawn Boys.
So Jim went to high
That's
school
sick.
with me.
That's
Jim lives in Arizona, so we might see him at the show when we come through, and that's the band that Dave was talking about.
yeah. That
that
is
was
high
my
school band that you should go see.
Ah.
It's the Lawn Boys. For
I
sure.
met Dave when he was 14, and we were both out skateboarding and ran into
Not the
each other.
sellouts. Lawn Boys.
The Lawn
Lawn Boys was the
that
band I used to go
That
see.
was
that
my
he was
second.
in high
That was my
school.
second childhood band.
Yeah.
And we played a lot. And we played. I mean,
Yeah.
we never really played much more than 30 minutes from our mom's house, but.
Why? Because she dropped you
played a
off?
lot. Well, now it's just, when you're young and there's no internet, getting out of town is a trick. So
Yeah.
we just played every fire hole we could. So.
All right.
The
It-
Lawn Boys was my springboard to becoming a musician.
That's cool. So you have an old buddy watching,
Excellent.
saying hi.
so it looks like we're doing word association now because we had Lawn Boys, and then I have Vera saying full body pink eye.
Which Hazel dip?
Full Body Pink Eye is pretty much we're on day one, but Full Body Pink Eye will probably happen
5 or 6.
day 5 or 6 at the midway point where
Depends
you just
how wet or dry. it
where
is.
you just there's nothing you can do to get clean other than a full body dip in witch hazel.
Fill a bathtub up with witch
Yeah.
hazel, soak in it, and really cleanse yourself.
When clothes are beyond being able to be cleaned and need burned, like that's pretty standard stuff with us.
When you're not sure if the odor's from outside or in the van with the windows
Yeah.
down,
Natural.
you just can't tell.
Yeah.
Garrett says, "Who's the hunk in the backwards cap?"
Ah,
Garrett.
Garrett.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I'm Garrett's old roommate.
Garrett is a Ramones expert too, by the way.
He loves it.
Yeah.
I think that's all. Let me see. Oh, also, Mike is watching, and then people just start asking Mike questions in the comments for this video.
Mike has to make a trip up here to
So
have questions.
yeah, he's doing his own Q&A
Yeah.
in
How's
in
he
the
doing?
comments.
How's he doing?
You holding up all right, Mike?
Good job, Mike.
So one more time, how can anyone get in touch with you guys? I want to get them to your site.
Viruspunks.com, Facebook /viruspunks, Instagram @viruspunks, Twitter @viruspunks.
And what's the next show? Where?
Tonight in Los Angeles at Los Globos.
Oh, good. Who you guys playing with?
Corrupted Youth.
That'll be a big show.
Aggression's
Yeah.
probably
Homesick abortion.
Homesick Abortions are on the show.
Yeah.
Cool.
Should be a good night.
Yeah, I'm getting challenged. There's other bands, but
Well, just those bands
Sleep-
alone.
Sleep
That's a good
Drives.
lineup. Show up, you guys. Buy the new record from them. If you spend it on beer, you can get it here. Hey, that's a shirt. If you spend it on beer, you can get it here. Anyway, support the virus. Nice guys. I really appreciate you guys being here.
Thank you.
Super, super cool. We'll take a shower together.
Yes.
Yeah. She's gonna scrub your back, especially she doesn't use hands. My mom has a dick too. Whatever. Hi, Mom. Thank you guys very much. I don't know what's coming up next. You can ask Debbie Johnson, and she will tell you. Thank you all very much. Thank you, mannequins. Okay.
Oh, I didn't see them back there.
Oh, they're watching you.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
live,
and also
live studio audience.
the winner, my makeup, whatever, whatever your name was, get in touch. I need a haircut. Okay.